Thank you. I would now like to recognize Representative Ross for the purpose of making an opening statement.
Thank you very much, Chairman Wenstrup and Ranking Member Ruiz, and thank you to the witnesses, all of you, for being with us today. I'd just like to take this opportunity to call attention to the hypocrisy of the Republicans in designating today's hearing topic, particularly in light of the current state of reproductive rights and reproductive health care in our country. My colleagues on the other side insist that public health guidelines based on strong medical consensus and evidence from the scientific community violated the relationship between patients and doctors. I take this relationship very seriously. My father is a doctor. He raised many of the concerns about having insurance companies interfere with his doctor-patient relationships. This is not an unfamiliar topic to me. But having this discussion while simultaneously advancing an extreme agenda to undercut reproductive health care and insist that elected officials know better than doctors and patients is really rich. It appears that some of my colleagues support government encroachment on America's privacy and health as long as it aligns with their goals of dismantling access to reproductive care. States across this country have enacted draconian legislation targeting and criminalizing doctors and reproductive health providers, encouraging vigilantism, deputizing citizens to go after individuals seeking abortion, and forcing rape victims as young as 13 to carry pregnancies to term. Somehow, in their eyes, this doesn't qualify as government overreach or interference in the doctor-patient relationship. Over 1,500 healthcare providers in my home state of North Carolina penned an open letter in opposition to our Republican legislature's 12-week abortion ban, writing that it puts the government in charge of deciding which healthcare options are available to patients, and sets a dangerous precedent that violates the sacred patient-clinician relationship. On top of that, the North Carolina Medical Society, the North Carolina Obstetrical and Gynecological Society, and the North Carolina Academy of Family Physicians all publicly opposed the law. And yet, despite the outcry from physicians, despite the danger to public health, despite public opposition, a bunch of extreme politicians said, "I know better." And now, extreme Republicans eye a national abortion ban as they attach anti-choice riders to appropriations legislation and fight to end the access to safe medication abortion nationwide. The ability for all women to make their own decisions about their health care is at risk. As a matter of fact, it's gone in many states. I want to remind folks that in the Roe versus Wade decision, the primary opinion came from Justice Harry Blackmun, who himself represented doctors at the Mayo Clinic. He understood the importance of the doctor-patient relationship and not criminalizing health care. In closing, I want to remind the committee of what Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg wrote in her 2007 dissent in Gonzalez versus Carhart. Legal challenges to undue restrictions on abortion procedures do not seek to vindicate some generalized notion of privacy. Rather, they center on a woman's autonomy to determine her life's course and thus enjoy equal citizenship stature. She argued this point at her Senate confirmation hearing as well, explaining that the decision whether or not to bear a child is central to a woman's life, her well-being, and her dignity. It is a decision she must make for herself, and when the government controls the decision for her, She's being treated as less than a fully adult human responsible for her own choices. If my colleagues on the other side of the aisle genuinely believe that vaccine requirements constitute government overreach, then they must acknowledge that across this country are evidence of an even greater overreach and violate the relationship that we have with our doctors. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.